How's it going? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm the Shredlord.
And we're here with another album review. This time we took one on from the land of the rising sun. A band called Raging Fury with their new album Grotesque Masked Krusher.
With a K.
With a K, yeah. This is just kind of an off-the-wall. I saw it, it came out, and I'm going to check this one out. This came out August 8th on
Jackhammer
Music, which is a straightforward Japan label. Really know nothing about it. This
They'll fuck you up, man!
These guys formed in 1982. Originally from they're originally from Kyoto, and then they moved to Osaka. This is only their third full length since 1982, which is kind of odd.
Really weird.
It's a litany of like demos and splits and a compilation or so. This band has had a lot of member changes. The only constant member is their bassist and frontman. And outside of that, they've had, I believe, 9 different drummers and 6 different guitarists in this band.
Spinal Tap as fuck.
Yes, Spinal Tap as fuck. This was a pretty interesting listen. This is a good kind of look at some of the interesting bands that come out of Japan. And it's very straightforward thrash metal.
I think that it was a little bit deeper songwriting-wise than I expected it to be.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of look at it, I mean, if you're looking at the cover right now on this screen, it's kind of out there with the werewolves with bandoliers and tight jeans that are ripped. It's odd. I really didn't know what to expect looking at that cover.
It was very Teen Wolf gone World War III.
Yeah, like Teen Wolf and Mad Max. Which, why didn't that happen in the 80s? It should have. Listening to the intro and the lead-in, it had almost kind of a battery-like feel, like opening up on,
Yeah, real epic.
Yeah, real epic.
The first track was actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And a really thick, chunky guitar tone. I really like the guitar tone in this. Like, it reminded me a lot of a band I like to listen to called Demolition Hammer, which is a really cool underground thrash metal band from, I believe, New York. And they always had like this over-the-top, chunky, thrashy tone. And definitely stuck out to me right away. And solid writing. Like, it was a really solid song throughout.
A lot of good dynamics and a lot of different changes and good parts.
I like the lead that went into the bridge and this cool fucking groovy part that had a really notable bass line too. Like, the bass line really stood out on this. And the lead work across this album is pretty fucking solid.
It was really solid. And of course, the first solo on the first song was very Kerry King. Just grab the fucking tremolo bar and jerk it the fuck off.
Squealy dive bombs. We love them.
Squeal it in.
I really started getting into it more around the second track, Die Machine, which there's a lot of song titles in there that I think are lost in translation, but this one, I thought
straightforward. It's a machine that wants you to die.
Yeah. Or do you want the machine to die? I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
I feel like Death Machine.
All right.
It's a rough translation.
But I really like the nice lead on the kind of the marching snare that went into it, and it has more of a death thrash feel.
Blast beats.
Yeah, like blast beats right away, and it kind of reminded me of a band like The Chasm, maybe even some of the more heavy moments of a band like Sodom. Really, really dug that one. I thought that was notably different than the opener. The opener kind of had that classic Bay Area feel. This one was like, nah, we're going to go to Germany and beat the shit out of you real quick. It's pretty cool.
I think The Brazier was one of my favorite tracks.
That one was interesting. It was the longest track.
The only thing that didn't, the angry Asian dad rants.
Yes.
Like, the vocals are very Asian. And,
yes.
What I mean by that is the accent is very heavy, obviously. So
now, I believe that one was the first one I noticed was entirely in Japanese, which I thought worked a bit better than
him translating.
Because I think the cadences work better in their language for this sound.
I agree.
Because there are other parts in here where they're singing English, and I just thought I was being yelled at by a very angry drunk person.
Like the opening track, Demonic Beast Front.
Now,
Demonic Beast Front.
Yeah, and that was kind of repeated a lot, which was like, okay, this better not be like a
But then
theme.
when it went away, it was much better. Yeah.
Maybe the Razor I thought was interesting. That there were moments in it, like this one wanted to be a straightforward, groovy kind of headbanger, and for the most part, it succeeded at that. But there were like these interesting moments where they'd pick up the speed for like a measure, and then just stop and go right back to that. Like that moment never happened.
They did really good breakdown parts as well.
Oh yeah.
Like just be in the middle of something balls heavy, and then just slow it down, get nice and melodic.
Yeah. No, there were parts on here that reminded me of stuff of like like the Haunted and Lamb of God. I think you said Arch Enemy too. Like a good groovy breakdown moments, and they throw a cool lead melody over it to make it really stand out.
Wheedly wheedly wah.
We need the Beedly Wahs. We need them. Now, this album takes an interesting turn right around breakneck speed.
It goes almost like New Age classic heavy metal.
Yeah, like instantly it starts going
Judas
like
Priest.
Yeah, Angel Witch, Iron Maiden, Diamond Head, all that shit. Like it's almost an abrupt shift, and it's kind of jarring because the song before this transition was Morphine, which was another really heavy, thrashy, almost kind of death thrash song, and then all of a sudden, we remembered we loved Motorhead. And it kind of goes on that way for a little bit, like the next actual track, Fury, same feel, and a really cool instrumental, like fiercely melodic, catchy as hell.
Yeah.
I really dug it. Now, I have to bring up the cool interlude, Gartham Shell, which I had to explain to Shredlord. I was like, do you know what that is? That's a Dark Crystal reference. That's pretty fucking wild. Because, I mean, Japan, honestly, I was thinking, like, all right, there's going to be, like, something about samurais or Godzilla or Gundam, something like that. It's a big part of their culture.
It's not stereotypical at all.
No, but it's a big part of their culture. But the fact that they reference a Jim Henson Muppet, that was pretty creepy looking. That's a pretty metal looking fucking creature. It was like, all right, that's kind of cool. And it was also an interesting little thing where they do the Japanese drums. I forget the name of them, but like a little dose of culture in there. But yeah, like into Fury, which like, all right, well, we're back to England in the early 80s, late 70s. So this is an interesting trip on this album.
I will say that after Fury, the final two songs kind of peter out a little bit. Fury was such a cool track to me, and then the last two songs just kind of sounded very redundant. So I was a little disappointed that it ended so weak.
Yeah, the title track kind of just went along with the kind of Slayer-esque noodling and such. And I was like, all right, I mean, this is fun and all, but I kind of like this little shift. I kind of wanted to see maybe if you could have a song that was kind of half and half, like transition. Like, that would make that kind of, the pace of the album feel really interesting. Instead, it kind of feels a little jarring, like these last two songs were tacked on, or they were like B-sides from the first half. Because there's a huge shift in the sound of this, which I thought was both interesting and kind of a thing that was a bit jarring.
Yeah.
I felt like the bassist was in two different bands and they recorded in the same name.
But all in all, I think it was a good album.
Yeah.
Like you said, instrumentally, it was great. Vocally, every once in a while, left a little something to be desired. But for the most part, pretty good.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun to listen to.
I think I would give it 3 out of 5. It was good to listen to. It was better songwriting than I expected. The guitar playing was on point. And the melodic, weird parts, they did very well.
Yeah. I'd also give it a 3. I really enjoyed the listen. There were a couple of moments I thought they were a little strange and some odd writing choices. The vocals are an acquired taste, but all in all, the passion's there. It was a fun listen, and I really liked the production on it too. It kind of had that raw, like more like late 80s, early 90s style versus the earlier thrash. Like, it was just gritty as hell, and I like my thrash heavy. So this was a pretty good listen.
You know what? I'll say all in all, I think Raging Fury gained 2 new fans in us. So we are the Thralls of Metal. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, for our Japanese metal fans, fuck you well, fuck you dolphin. We'll see you next time.